Let's continue rebuilding Reaper. Over the few years that I have been using it, I have figured out which all actions I regularly use in my workflow. So in this video, I'm just simply reassigning the shortcuts to these actions and even make some custom actions. Chances are you will also find most of these useful. Alright, let's start with some actions related with automation envelopes. Now, if I want to see automations that I added onto a track, then I will have to right click on the trim button and then click on show all active track envelopes. Now the issue with this one is that it will not bring up any bypassed envelopes, which I do want to see most of the time. So I will have to rely on a different action, which we can find in the action list by filtering envelope, track, show, toggle. Yeah, here we have this option, toggle show all envelopes for tracks. We are going to assign a shortcut to it by clicking add and then pressing A on the keyboard for automation and press OK. Now if I have a track selected, then press A, it toggles the visibility of all the automation lanes associated with that particular track. While we are here, there is one more action that I'm interested in, and that is toggle show all envelopes for all tracks, to which I'm going to assign Shift plus A and press OK. Now Shift plus A brings up the automation lane associated with all the tracks in the project, be it active or bypassed. It will show up, and we can also hide them with the same shortcut. Another automation related thing I want to assign a shortcut to is this trim button itself, which brings up the envelopes window. So now I'm going to filter envelope window, and there we have it, show envelope manager window. For this one's shortcut, it's going to be E for envelope and press OK. Well, it is assigned to open item inline editors, which I do not use, so I'm going to override it. Now, if I have a track selected and press E, I'll get the envelope manager for that particular track. This envelope manager is what I usually use to add envelopes for these track parameters, but if it is for effects in the track, then I actually prefer bringing up the effects itself, then turn or just click the parameter that I want to automate, and then click this param button and then click on show track envelope. Well, that just adds an envelope on the track for the last touched parameter. I would actually like to make that even faster by adding shortcut to it. So here in the action list, we are going to look for show track envelope. Show track envelope. It seems to bring a lot of options. So I'm going to add one more word. There it is. Effects show high track or take envelope for last touched effects parameter. And this is going to have the shortcut P for parameter. And I'm going to click OK. Override this. Yep. But if I were to touch any parameter and then press P, it doesn't do anything. That's because the action has this scope in the section main, and when we are in the FX window, that is not the focus. So for this action to work, we'll have to edit the shortcut. So I'm going to double click on this shortcut and then change the scope to global and press OK. Now I can simply add automation lanes for the last touched FX parameter very easily. I also used to have shortcuts for item level envelopes like take volume envelope and take pan envelope. But I realized I do not use these as often to justify having shortcuts, and I also realized that we can add buttons in here. For that, I'm opening preferences, and here we have to go under appearance and click on media item buttons. We are going to enable no active envelopes, and we click apply. Now I can click on the button on the top of the item and easily add envelopes on just that particular item. Two other actions that I often use is freeze tracks to stereo and unfreeze tracks. Let's find that in the action list. Search freeze and stereo. Yeah, here it is. Freeze to stereo is going to be Ctrl plus F. Okay. And unfreeze is going to be Alt plus F. And now I can press Ctrl plus F and it will freeze the selected track, and Alt plus F to unfreeze the selected tracks. Now, in order to bring up effects associated with the track, I can simply click on this effects button. But this button will not be visible if the MIDI editor is full screen, and there is nothing equivalent to that button in the MIDI editor either. Since I do not want to restore the MIDI editor to a smaller size to access this button, I can actually assign a shortcut to this. So in the action list, I'm going to look for effects track chain. Now we are seeing nothing in here because this section is set to MIDI Editor, which I'm going to change to main. And here we have this action, view effects chain for current or last touched track. We're going to assign a shortcut to it, and it's going to be F for effects. But remember, the section is main for this action, and I want to use this while in the MIDI Editor. So the scope has to be changed to global. And now click OK. Override mapping that to OK. Now even if the MIDI Editor is full screen, I can press F on the keyboard to bring up the effects associated with this track. For the next shortcut, I'm going to click on the effects pin of a track and then filter Re-EQ. Then I'm going to right click on the first option and click on Create Shortcut. So yeah, we can assign shortcuts to any number of plugins of our choosing. For me, Re-EQ is one of my go-to plugins for quick EQ adjustments, and I need it right away without much thought. So the shortcut is going to be Ctrl+E for EQ, and then click OK. Override mapping that to OK. Now, if you do want to change the shortcut to plugins, then you can right click on that plugin itself and you will have options to do so. Anyway, now I can have a track selected, and with Ctrl+E, I can add Re-EQ to that track. Now, if it's an item that is selected, Ctrl+E will add Re-EQ to that item. Now at some point, you will start recognizing some steps that you always do in sequence. For me, one of those was turning the root notes into a chord progression. While keeping the key snap enabled, with the key and scale set to what I am working in, I hold down Ctrl and click on one of the selected notes and then drag it 2 semitones up. And I will do it twice to make it a chord progression. I'll also have to be careful to keep the duplication consistent. Instead of doing this every time I started a project, I had made a custom action to do this with just one single click. Let me remake that custom action now. Here I'm going to filter out duplicate, and the one action that I'm going to use first is duplicate events 1 octave. While keeping this selected, I'm going to click on new action and then new custom action. This is where we can add the actions that we want to execute in sequence. So to add the next action, I'm going to look for octave down. Here we have move notes down 1 octave. I'm going to click and drag it in like this. Now if you're wondering why I'm first duplicating events 1 octave high and then moving those notes 1 octave down, well, that's because the copy paste actions or the other duplicate actions will move the edit cursor to the end of the selection or the end of the last note, which will make it impossible to achieve the task I'm trying to do. And by some trial and error, I figured that this might be the only duplicate action that does not affect the edit cursor in any way. And since the duplicate is going up 1 octave, I just simply have to move the notes down 1 octave with this one. And then with the next action, I should move the notes 1 semitone up. Now here's the thing. We also have move notes up 1 semitone, ignoring scale or key, which means this does not ignore the key snap that we had enabled here. All right, so let's add this action twice. So up to this point, the notes will be duplicated and placed around here, and the selection will be on the duplicated notes. So we just have to repeat this whole process again. So I'm going to add this 2 more times and then look for this duplicate events. Duplicate events 1 octave lower. Oh, sorry, I mean higher. I mean, we could use lower, but let's just use the same thing. Then move notes down 1 octave, and that's going to be here. All right, now let's name this custom action Make Chords. Finally, I'm going to enable consolidate undo points, without which if we run this action, all of these individual actions will be recorded in the undo history, which I do not want. I only want make chords to be recorded in the undo history as a one single action. Now, show in actions menu is going to be enabled, and next option is going to be disabled because this is mainly for toggle kind of actions, which make chords is not going to be. And with that, we click OK. Now let's clear the filter and we have custom make chords. And we just simply run and the selected notes will turn into chords in the scale. We can obviously assign a shortcut to this, but I prefer making this into a button I can click from here, which I will make in a future video that deals with setting up the look of Reaper. I have also used custom actions to imitate the render in place feature that I really liked in Cubase. And here is the custom action I made to imitate the Cubase feature here inside Reaper. I'm going to click on edit action so that you can see which all actions I have added in here to achieve this. So the first action is set time selection to items. Let's say I only want to render this single item. And in the actions window, I'm going to filter out the first action that I've used. And if I run that action, you can see the time selection is set to the boundaries of the selected item. Then we have the action render selected area of tracks to stereo, post fader stem tracks, and mute originals. And this action is what I have used as the second action. Now if I run this, it makes a new audio item from this MIDI and keeps it in a new track which was added above the original track that is muted now. There are two things that I do not like about this, and the first one is that the new audio item does not have enough tail in here. So we open up preferences, then click here and search default tail and click find. Here, I already set this value in the previous video. What we are currently interested in is this feature, rendering stems for time selection via action. We enable that and click apply. Now, let's undo this and then click run again. Well, no track selected. Of course, for this action to work, we do need the track selected, which does happen when we select the item. And let's try running it again. And here we have enough tail to keep the reverb and delay that we might have on the original track. Now, the second thing that I do not like about this is the order of the tracks after executing this action. So the following actions are to fix that. We have move tracks down, which simply moves the selected track down like this. Then go to previous track, which simply selects the previous track. Then unmute tracks, which obviously unmutes the selected track. And then go to next track, which simply keeps this selection in the newly created track. And that's it. So this is the action, and I have assigned Ctrl+B as this shortcut to it. To show you that it is working, here is a selected item, and I'm going to run that action. And there it is. It is rendered to a new track. Now the last thing I'm going to set up is actually the action window itself. And here I'm going to click on options. Two of my preferred options are already enabled. The one that is not enabled is remember last action filter, which I'm going to enable now. With this, I can have words in the filter, and even if I close the action window, when I bring it back again, those words still be used to filter out actions, which makes those actions readily available. And that's it for this video. In the next one, we'll be adding scripts and other extensions, basically expanding the capability of Reaper even further. Alright, I'll see you there.